Hi folks, today I'm going to show you how to replace the brakes and the rotors on a 2007 Pontiac G6. No matter the year, but all the Pontiacs are pretty much the same way. So we're going to go with an AC Delco rotor here for our new rotors, and then I like the Wagner thermal quiet brakes. They're a really good brake pad, last a long time. I've got some new hardware here for it. You can see I've got some some disc grease around here somewhere. I like to use that stuff. Anyways, I'll show you that as we get further along in the video. So let's get started out. The first thing we're going to do, I'm assuming you know how to take a wheel off. If you don't, you probably shouldn't tear into this project. With your wheel off, everything's up on jack stands. The first two things is a 14 millimeter socket right here and right here to take our caliper off of our bracket here. That's the first thing we've got to do. Okay, now that I've got my caliper off and I've kind of got it set up here out of the way, eventually I'll want to zip tie it up here to the strut, kind of keep it out of the way and keep it from falling. You don't want all the stress to be on that hose there. Now it's time to take off our caliper bracket here. So what it is two 15 millimeter bolts in the back here that bolt it into the steering knuckle. So I'm going to take those two bolts off, and that'll remove our caliper bracket. Okay, now that we got that bracket off, we can go ahead and remove our rotor here. Just slides off. Now, I've done this so many times that I've removed those. There's these little aluminum clips. You'll have two of them that go right over the stud and keep the rotor from doing this, basically. I've got rid of them a long time ago because I don't really care about them. So, just if you have those, they just kind of screw off. They're just kind of little stupid cheap clips. Just pull those off, and then your rotor will come right off, and your new one will go back on the same way. Okay, new rotor's back on just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my bracket back on with the two 15 millimeter clips. I mean, everything's going to go back on just the way it came off. Only I'll show you a little bit different with when the new brakes go on. Okay, folks, now that I got the bracket back on, I've got our little hardware clips already on the bracket here. Now you can see I put some of that lube on the slides here where I'm going to put my shoe. Don't go too crazy on the lube because it's just a place for a bunch of dirt to attract. Okay, don't go too crazy. Just a thin layer of it. One brake goes in the front, just like that. We bring another brake around the back and do the same thing. It just slides right in. Just like that. Okay, now our brakes are on. That's why maybe those clips would have been. Okay, everything's good to go except our caliper. I'm going to show you what to do with our caliper next. Okay, the next thing we want to do, I've got a 4-inch clamp here, and when that plunger comes out, to press on your brakes, you got to return it back to the factory settings so we can get them over our new pair of brake pads here. So what I'll do is take this 4-inch clamp, put one piece out there on the back of the caliper, and then our threaded piece, up against the clamp, and just slowly clamp it. It'll slowly squeeze it back in to the caliper here, and then we're able to slide them over our new brake shoes. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Okay, I put the caliper back on just like we took it off. The two 14 millimeter bolts, one here, one down there. It slid right over the new brake shoes. The only thing that's left is to put my wheel back on. The one thing you got to remember after you do brakes is when you get in the car and hit the brakes for the first time, it's going to be pretty spongy. Your foot's going to go all the way to the floor because that piston back there hasn't pushed all the way into the new set of brakes. Okay, so just keep that in mind if you're rolling downhill or something. You might want to pump the brakes a few times to get that piston back up against the brake pad. So that's it, folks. The other side's the exact same way. So that's all she wrote. Thanks for watching.